Breaking news tonight: the Middle East is once again facing a dramatic and dangerous escalation as Hezbollah has launched a massive barrage of missiles toward Israel. According to early reports, more than 100 rockets and missiles have been fired from southern Lebanon toward Israeli territory, creating one of the most intense nights of tension in recent months for millions of people across Israel, especially in major cities like Tel Aviv. This night is expected to be extremely difficult as air raid sirens echo across neighborhoods and civilians rush toward shelters for safety. Residents across central and northern Israel suddenly heard warning sirens late in the evening, forcing families to abandon normal life and move quickly into protected areas. Children were rushed into safe rooms, cars stopped in the streets, and people ran toward underground shelters as the threat of incoming rockets appeared on the horizon. The sky above parts of Israel lit up with flashes as air defense systems attempted to intercept the incoming missiles before they could reach their targets. Israel immediately activated its advanced multi-layered air defense systems, designed to protect cities from rocket attacks. Interceptor missiles were launched into the sky, attempting to destroy the incoming rockets. Midair, loud explosions were heard in several areas as defensive systems collided with the incoming threats, creating bright flashes visible across the night sky. However, military experts say that when more than 100 rockets are launched within a short period of time, even the most advanced defense systems face serious challenges. The strategy often used by Hezbollah is to fire a large number of rockets simultaneously to overwhelm defensive capabilities and increase the possibility that some of the missiles will pass through the defensive shield. Hezbollah is widely considered one of the most heavily armed non-state military groups in the world. Over the past 2 decades, the organization has built a massive stockpile of rockets and missiles. Many analysts believe the group possesses tens of thousands of rockets, including short-range artillery rockets, medium-range missiles, and more advanced precision-guided weapons capable of reaching deep inside Israeli territory. This means that not only border communities but also major cities such as Haifa, Tel Aviv, and even areas closer to Jerusalem could potentially come under threat. During large-scale escalations for Israeli civilians, this possibility has long been a source of concern, and tonight those fears appear closer to reality than ever before. Reports indicate that the rockets were launched from positions in southern Lebanon, an area where Hezbollah maintains strong military infrastructure, including hidden launch sites, underground weapons depots, and command centers. The mountainous terrain and dense villages in the region make it difficult for opposing forces to locate and destroy every launch position. Emergency services across Israel were placed on immediate high alert. Hospitals prepared for possible casualties. Police units were deployed to maintain order, and rescue teams were positioned across major cities, ready to respond if rockets struck residential areas. In many neighborhoods, people gathered in reinforced safe rooms designed specifically to protect civilians during missile attacks. Modern buildings in Israel are required to include these protective rooms, which are built with thick reinforced concrete walls and steel doors capable of withstanding explosions. Public shelters located in basements, subway stations, and underground parking structures also quickly filled with residents seeking safety. The atmosphere in these shelters was tense as people checked their phones for updates while listening for the sound of additional sirens. Meanwhile, the Israeli military confirmed that rockets had indeed been launched toward the country and that defensive systems were actively intercepting incoming projectiles. Officials warned that additional attacks could occur during the night and urged civilians to remain close to shelters and follow safety instructions. This latest escalation comes amid rising tensions along the Israel-Lebanon border, where exchanges of fire have become increasingly frequent. Israeli forces have recently conducted strikes against what they describe as Hezbollah military positions, including weapons storage sites and rocket launch infrastructure. Israeli officials say these operations are necessary to prevent future attacks and reduce Hezbollah military capabilities. However, each new strike increases the risk of retaliation, and the current barrage of rockets appears to be one such response. The conflict between Israel and Hezbollah has deep historical roots. The two sides fought a major war in 2006 that lasted more than a month, during which thousands of rockets were fired into Israel while Israeli airstrikes struck numerous targets across Lebanon. That war caused significant destruction and loss of life on both sides. Since then, tensions have remained high along the border, with occasional skirmishes, sniper incidents, drone activity, and limited rocket fire. Yet the current situation appears more dangerous because it is unfolding within a broader regional crisis involving multiple actors across the Middle East. Analysts warn that the involvement of regional powers and allied groups could transform localized clashes into a much wider conflict. Several armed groups across the region maintain alliances with each other and sometimes Coordinate responses when tensions rise because of this interconnected environment. Events in one area can quickly trigger reactions in another, increasing the possibility of a larger regional confrontation for civilians living in Israel tonight. The immediate concern is safety. As sirens continue to sound, people remain inside shelters waiting for official announcements confirming whether the threat has passed. The uncertainty can be deeply stressful because residents never know if another wave of rockets could be launched moments later. Parents attempt to comfort frightened children while monitoring emergency alerts on their phones. In some places, communities gather together in shelters, sharing water, food, and updates while hoping that the attacks will end soon. Despite Israel's advanced air defense technology, experts emphasize that no defense system in the world can guarantee complete protection. Even a small number of rockets that evade interception can cause damage, injuries, or worse. This reality means that every missile barrage carries significant risk, particularly when large cities are within range. The psychological impact on civilians can also be severe, as repeated sirens and explosions disrupt daily life and create constant anxiety. Israeli leaders have previously warned that if Hezbollah launches large-scale attacks against central Israel, the response could involve extensive military operations across Lebanon. Such a scenario could result in widespread destruction and potentially draw additional regional actors into the conflict. Lebanon itself is currently facing serious economic and political challenges, which makes the possibility of a large war especially concerning. Infrastructure in the country has already been strained by years of financial crisis and political instability. A major military confrontation could further damage critical systems, including power grids, transportation networks, and communication infrastructure. At the same time, Israel would likely face